Allen Ginsberg is a man who faced a lot during his 70 years of life. His poem Howl, that's located in his fourth poem book series, walks his readers through all the pain he has faced. Ginsberg is a man of steel, as he has survived through a lot. Allen Ginsberg, born Irwin Allen Ginsberg, was born in Newark, New Jersey on June 3, 1926. He grew up in Paterson, New Jersey with his mother Naomi and father Louis. His mother and father were Russian Jewish immigrants, and his father Louis was a poet. Ginsberg later kept a journal during his preteen years. Allen Ginsberg is one of the 20th century's most influential poets, regarded as a founding father of the Beat movement and known for works like Howl. He studied poetry by Walt Whitman in high school and later kicked off with his writing in the mid-40s. It was around this time as well when Ginsberg was exploring his sexuality. He graduated from Columbia University in 1948, and while he was there, he met Jack Kerouac and William S. Burroughs, who grew up to be literary icons or even mentioned in his book Howl and Other Poems. The following year, after Ginsberg graduated from Columbia, he was involved as an accomplice in a robbery. Since he didn't want to go to jail, he decided to plead that he was insane. Following his plea, Ginsberg spent time in Columbia University's mental health facilities. After the robbery, Ginsberg continued to study poetry under the poet William Carlos Williams for a while before settling down in a career. Ginsberg decided to stay in New York for a while and got a job at a Manhattan job agency. Williams also introduces Ginsberg's Howl and Other Poems, who distributed super communist pamphlets in Union Square, weeping and undressing while the sirens of Los Alamos wailed them down, and wailed down Wall, and the Staten Island Ferry also wailed, who broke down crying in white gymnasiums naked and trembling before the machinery of other skeletons, who bit detectives in the neck and shrieked with delight in police cars for committing no crime but their own wild cooking, pederasty, and intoxication, who howled on their knees in the subway and were dragged off the roof, waving genitals and manuscripts. He later moved to San Francisco in 1954, where he became a part of the Beat movement. The Beat movement was a countercultural movement that consisted of many artistic and sensory modes to abstain from the rules of society. While he was there, he met the model Peter Orlovsky, who ended up becoming his life partner. In 1955, Ginsberg went on to read excerpts from his poem Howl in front of a gallery. His poem Howl became a key part of the Beat generation and was published a year later by a City Lights bookstore. In a small collection of poems, Howl and Other Poems. Howl explored sexuality, anguish, and social issues in a non-traditional poem format. People thought of Howl as obscene, and Ginsberg was actually tried for the content within it. Luckily, he was cleared when the judge said that it had worthy content. The publicity that he got from the trial put Ginsberg in the spotlight as an icon of anti-censorship. After Howl, Ginsberg published four more collections. Kaddish and Other Poems featured the poem Kaddish for Naomi Ginsberg. He used this poem to talk about his mother's past and his feelings about the relationship. It was thought to be one of his strongest works. He then went on to publish Reality Sandwiches, Planet News, and The Fall of America, Poems of these States. Ginsberg also decided to give musical forms a try. He later came up with the phrase flower power. This phrase was used to describe the peace movements that fueled the anti-war demonstrations he was a part of. He also protested against the Vietnam War and went to gay rights movements. In his personal life, Ginsberg advocated for drug use. This was until he studied yoga and meditation on a voyage to India in 1962. He later converted to Buddhism and founded a school focused on Buddhist studies, Jack Kerouac's School of Disembodied Poetics of the Naropa Institute. He also became a world traveler and spent a lot of time in Latin America and Europe. Ginsberg went on to accept some awards. In 1974, Ginsberg earned the National Book Award for his work on the Fall of America, Poems of these States. He later received many other awards, including the Robert Frost Medal in 1986. Ginsberg continued with his writing in the 80s and 90s and worked with the musical artists Philip Glass, Bono's Sonic Youth, and The Clash. As Ginsberg was gaining fame, he also faced the loss of his mother, Naomi. Ginsberg's mother had suffered from many mental health issues throughout the course of her life. She ended up passing away in the year 1956, just 2 days after having a lobotomy. Ginsberg faced trauma in the years following World War I. He has survived through many hardships, and Howl is a great reflection of it. His poem tells his life story of everything that he has been through. He jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, this actually happened, and walked away unknown and forgotten into the ghostly days of Chinatown's soup alleyways and fire trucks, not even on free beer. Who sang out of their windows in despair, fell out of the subway window, jumped in a filthy pasiuk, leaped on Neeg, cried all over the street, danced on broken wine glasses barefoot, smashed phonograph records of nostalgic European 1930s German jazz, finished the whiskey and threw up groaning into the bloody toilet, moans in their ears and the blast of colossal steam whistles. Ginsberg passed away at 70, not too long after April 5, 1997, in his East Village home. He passed away as a result of many illnesses, some of which are hepatitis, congestive heart failure, and liver cancer. All of his work has been placed in a collection called Collected Poems.